US Oncology is a privately held company and the largest community-based cancer treatment and research center in the United States. Across 38 states, US Oncology supports more than 500 facilities and is affiliated with 1,300 physicians. Here to talk about her company's innovative merit increase in HRIS systems is Amber Nichols, the Director of Compensation for US Oncology. Welcome, Amber.
Thank you, Ron. My pleasure to be here.
Well, Amber, you know better than anybody probably that HR is asked every year to do more with less. And this will be an interesting case study, I think, for you to share because you're really doing some innovative things with your HRIS.
Probably a lot of companies aren't doing some of the things we are. We're highly automated, and we have employee self-service and manager self-service at US Oncology. With the employee self-service, the employees enter their own address changes, phone number changes, emergency contact information. They request time off, and they handle their direct deposit, and this year they even print their own tax information online. With manager self-service, the managers approve time off, they enter pay or job change transactions. Anything else that would normally be done on paper is all electronic with us. And so with part of that, we save paper, time, and more importantly, it places the responsibility with the appropriate person. So in a lot of organizations, human resources is seen as the data owner for emergency contacts. You have to go to HR for all this transactional paperwork. And now we've pushed that out to who it really belongs with so that the HR department can spend their time in truly doing HR work.
I want you to spend a minute or two talking specifically about how it works in the merit process.
Well, what we typically did with our merit review, at the corporate office we have 1,000 employees on a common review date, and probably as most companies do, we create the massive spreadsheets, input the data, create the formulas, push the spreadsheets out to the managers. They make their salary recommendations, send it through their upline, and at some magical time they start sending the worksheets back, consolidate the worksheets, double checking that we have them all, and only after we have all the worksheets can we start the analysis process. So it's quite labor intensive, a lot of non-value added tasks.
Talk about some of the change management that had to occur here in order for this to be successful. What did you experience in your organization as you implemented this system?
Because the managers are already accustomed to the manager self-service, it was really a little easier for us than maybe some other people who are making a huge leap. For us, it was more of a small change. So it was a lot around communication and follow-up the first year. Second year went really seamless. And so part of the things that we do a little different is, rather than bringing back all those worksheets to be analyzed and then later for the managers to enter transactions, we've cut that out. And we still push out the worksheets, but at a given time, the managers go ahead and enter the transactions into the HRIS system. So we no longer have to consolidate all those worksheets that nobody likes doing.
You described this common review date increase process. What does US Oncology do differently, and where did you find the improvement?
Well, it was really through this consolidating of the worksheets and this non-value added task that my HRIS director and I just started talking about what we could do differently, where the roadblocks were and other things that were happening. So not only did I not like putting together all these worksheets and following up on files, but the other thing we noticed is the data on the files, and then later on if we looked at the data that was in the system, some of the numbers changed. So that was quite curious. So some people were submitting one increase and later on inputting a different one. So we changed the process to eliminate the problem. So what we continue to do is we still create the worksheets and push them out to the managers. But instead of them sending them back, they go ahead and key the transactions into the system. And it's that data that we pull down. We begin the analysis immediately, and in a matter of days have it up to the executives for them to look at. So we eliminated the worksheets coming back, the data's more accurate, and through all of that, human resources became a more credible source.
I'm sure you ran into some issues during this process. It's a change management process that you've described. So what were some of the issues?
we did have issues that we did not foresee, as with all automation processes. And one of the issues, managers, when they keyed the transactions, by habit, you put in the effective date that you're keying it, so today's date, instead of that future common review date. The other thing is our system tracks the employees based on their HR contact. So we have automated routing rules for transactions, and if the employee doesn't have an HR contact assigned, it went all the way through approval. So we slowly learned all the problems, and we now download based on the common review date, any transaction coded as merit, regardless of the date, and then we look for approved and not approved. And that gets me my full data for the analysis.
It sounds like you're at a place where a lot of companies would aspire to go to. So what would you see on the horizon? Are you happy with where you are, or what's the next step?
We are happy with where we are. The process works beautiful. We love it. We do download the data several times because managers don't hit the deadline first time. Some are traveling, even though they can enter the information from the comfort of their couch at home. Deadlines get missed. So we download the data first time just to check who's missing. We do a second time as a quick check, and then we take the data down a third time, and that's really what we run with. We're happy with the process. The data's coming out more accurate, faster, and the turnaround time to the executives is just better. That next year we'll be able to probably shave another week off the full start to end time cycle of the review process. As far as the worksheets going out, next year we'll probably add some graphs. I always look at the data and look for patterns and trends and things that just quite aren't there. And lo and behold, in some departments, all the employees are stellar. So I think I'll be adding some graphs to point that out.
Well, it's a terrific case study because what you've got here is speed, more efficiency, fewer people, fewer problems in the process, and you're accommodating obviously a widely dispersed workforce. So again, Amber, thank you for coming in and sharing this terrific case study. And I've been speaking with Amber Nichols, who's the Director of Compensation at US Oncology, and for World at Work, I'm Ryan Johnson.